Exactly.
it's true,
No,
true. But I don't.
it's the same. Look, she's exactly right. It's the same kind of method. You know, he's an eloquent speaker, even though he's not, you know, native. His English is not his native language, but you know, he's mastered how to portray himself in a positive light, and he has a lot of support. But so did SBF, right? I can tell you there are a lot of allegations of market manipulation. And if you actually spend a bit of time, like I did, to look at the past of Binance and all the fishy shit that they've already done and all the investigations that are currently ongoing, like you got to be completely naive and blind to think that he's the good guy and we don't need to worry about Binance. I tell you, from everything that I've seen, Binance is going to be in big trouble. And again, my advice to everyone, just like Elon and everyone else who came here and said the same, the safe bet right now with what's happening in the market, take your crypto out of exchanges, especially Binance.
And that one I would agree with. In terms of removing your money from exchanges, I think CZ himself said it, or either CZ or Gabriel, who was right next to him when we had him on the show. The safe bet when everyone's confused is obviously, and remember, exchanges that are backed one-to-one don't give a fuck. Like the money sitting there is just a liability, if anything. So they don't mind you take out your capital. They're not a bank as long as you use them to offboard, onboard, and trade. So yes, removing your capital from exchanges is Kraken's founder recommended the same thing. So that one I do agree with. In terms of the concerns with CZ, I also want to agree that it should definitely be looked into. You know, looking at reports, looking at facts, looking at what any allegations are made. Don't ignore them. Obviously, when we have facts, we have facts. Uncle Tim.
Which is no different than what we have been saying for over 2.5 years. So we haven't changed our position on this. If you are not a day trader and you're not running algorithms and an expert at trading and trying to speculate the market, you know, minute by minute, hour by hour, you should not have your crypto on an exchange. You should hold it off, then move it on if you need to liquidate or you're looking to make a trade. We've been saying this for over 2.5 years. So everything that's occurring in this market today, we have not changed our position. At least I haven't, and I haven't heard anybody else. We've been telling this for over 2.5 years now, folks.
Tim, go ahead, man.
Yeah, for me, watching all this has been interesting because, like, I wrote a paper on Bitcoin in 2011. My background's more like looking at the futures of what this as a technology means. And my focus has been on DAOs and organizational design, computational law, decentralized governance, and like kind of the ethical implications of this space. And I really see a huge potential in it for really changing how our economy and governance works globally. And I've also seen, since before Ethereum was coming out, working on a lot of the primitives and possibilities that became the phenomena of NFTs and such, like we've seen cycles of really parasitic traditional finance patterns come into the space and cause a lot of issues for projects that were actually substantial. I'd say there's a bunch of junk out there too, but there's a lot of really good people doing really amazing things. And there's also been a lot of like severe irresponsibility because people wanted to profit. And, when it comes to Binance, it's conjecture, but I'd say if we start really applying like correct heuristics and standards to institutions in the space, we may see that there are a lot more structural issues than we think. And we would also probably stop this really volatile pattern that we're seeing in the space as well. And I think that that's a good thing to like really get into honesty. I mean, the last time the bubble popped, we were like, oh, hopefully this means that the space will get more honest and there'll be less speculation. But it didn't happen. So I think it's really the time to look at like what's responsibility here. And I think what Catskill was saying is absolutely like exactly what we need to do. It's what the technology is actually for in terms of the DAO space. We can actually govern to create a solution for this. And this is really about actually like this crypto as a potential future systems design where human rights actually allow us to protect ourselves and actually allow us to create a better future. And that's what I'm here for. So.
And to your point there, Tim, on accountability, like one of the other things in the filing today is that, and this is in John Ray's words, one of the most pervasive failures of the FTX.com business in particular is the absence of lasting records of decision for 4892 making. Mr. Bankman-Fried often communicated by using applications that were set to employees to do the same. So essentially, he was using auto-deleting messaging to communicate major decisions, therefore making sure there was no records being properly kept at the firm. And you know, the thing that concerns me is I don't think that this is just something that's happening at FTX. I think that this is pervasive across the Web3 ecosystem, that people aren't properly keeping records because, well, it doesn't feel the same as the banking system. It doesn't feel like it's as regulated the same way until you see something like this happen and you realize, oh shit, yeah, it might have been really good to have all those things on record. Without auditors properly enforcing this, I don't know how we actually get to a point where we actually get around this in the future.
Transparency.
And Tim, you mentioned something interesting in for anyone who doesn't know, that I wasn't there in 2018. By the way, speakers, you don't have to put your hand up, you can just jump in, just a reminder. But in 2018, there was a lot of shit happening in the ICO hype. A lot of shit. Is just everyone was just launching a security and treating it like it's not a security. And once the dust settled, once the bubble popped, we all said, like, hey, it's not going to happen again. Now regulators are going to catch on, and this is it. The party's over forever. And what we see now is that we see the same thing happen with NFTs, and then we see big players over leveraged like never before in the space. So it just shows that late regulation, whether it's through self-regulation or existing infrastructure that we have with existing regulators, no regulation or late regulation will lead to things like this. And I think, we need self-regulation, but I think now for the first time, based on all the announcements over the last few days and all the regulators stepping up, I think we will see the traditional regulators adapt to the space, and they seem to understand it more than
but Mario,
than we expected.
why should we as an industry let the regulators from, call it the, web 0.001
because we're human, bro. Because we
I
talked
know,
about self-regulation in 2017, and
no,
look at us now.
What I'm saying is we need to step up to help them to create the framework ourselves and create a global framework to work with them, to go to them and say, hey, this is how we can support you, and this is what you should be looking at. Because in my opinion, and I said this yesterday, they're not smart enough to know where to look. And Anthony Scaramucci and some of this stuff, honestly, if people like just really listen to what I'm saying, Anthony Scaramucci, he touched on this morning, and I'm sure it went over so many people's heads, and maybe Kim got it. But if you've ever been involved or gotten involved in any of these scams or had any dealings with these people that are, big time criminals, the only way to catch them, and Anthony said this, the only way to catch them is to bring in the criminals to know how to think like them and where to look. And I'm just telling you, if you've ever had these guys as like, I for whatever crazy reason, I ended up in some business deals with some bad people. And when I couldn't even, and I think a lot of people, or most, probably 95 or 99% of the people listening in this forum, they can't fathom that anybody would do these things or that they would think like that. And it's honestly, it's unbelievable. And it's almost like, I was thinking about it the other day. It's like the intelligence agencies, they go and they arrest the hackers, they take them out of jail and make them work for them. I kind of feel like we need to do the same thing. And to take this even one step further, I have also, and I think Skrelly talked about this when I heard him saying this, I've talked to some of these guys that, and again, it's just a small crypto world. Around the world, I ran into some of these guys, 2 different groups that ran exchanges that did their own hacks. And I just got to be close enough with them to where they confided in me and shared that with me and told me. And they also told me that all the scams that you're seeing, all this click on this and all this, like you go into a Telegram group and ABC exchange and say, hey, I'm having a problem with my withdrawals. And you get blown up with DMs saying, you know, click this link, whatever, put your seed phrase in, and they steal all your money. Those exchanges, those little exchanges, hired people on their own to do it. And when I sat down and talked to them and said, what the fuck are you talking about? They said it was happening anyways, and they felt like they were losing money. And this is the kind of stuff that's like, it's unfathomable that we, like, normal human beings don't think like that. And we need, like, it needs to get cleaned up.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And what you have suggested here is really good. Also, what Scaramucci said is really good. And let me just give you an example, right? In my teens, I was a hacker, and I was really good at it, and hacked a lot of shit and got in trouble for it. And then, while I was dealing with my case, by the way, during that time in Germany, they didn't even have any kind of laws against hacking. They had to use data espionage laws, spy laws, to try and charge me. And while I was waiting, for my trial, I was literally bombarded by all these companies that I hacked when I was a juvenile, and they hired me, and that's how I started my first business. How I became a so-called white hat hacker, and basically helping all these companies to understand what their security problems are. And the same kind of approach needs to be taken if these regulators want to have any chance to create regulations that actually make sense. They need to deal with insiders that know where the weaknesses are, that understand the system better than anybody, and then we'll get regulations that actually make sense, that work and protect people.
Even the NSA hires cyber attackers to get into their systems so they can figure it out. Like Mooch said earlier, we got to rebuild it from backwards to forwards. You almost have to re-engineer this.
So there's an interesting point I just want to raise on this. The OECD, or the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, have been pushing what they're calling a crypto asset reporting framework, or CARF, which would basically, the idea would standardize how global tax authorities would regulate and share information on crypto assets. I'm not saying whether that's a good or bad thing. It's just something that the G20 have started discussing, because, as I said, in other spaces in the past couple of days, I'm following the G20 element, because I think it's quite interesting to see, if you're talking about a global regulatory framework, those guys representing about 80% of GDP would be quite impactful. The other element I think is quite interesting is also you can get like global representatives or UN envoys. I'm not saying, again, whether or not the UN is a good thing. I'm not going down that road. I'm just saying, as a representative, for someone who represents the international community, engaging with people like you guys, insiders, right? And then taking it to the relevant parties to try and hash out through a bottom-up, top-down, comprehensive way to try and, develop regulatory methods which were endorsed or supported by the people who actually know the system, not just the policymakers who think they know the system, if that makes sense. So there's a few ways you can potentially implement these, but just wanted to chuck those in there to the conversation.
No, Piotr, that's great. And to Kat's and Kim's point, I think what you guys are advocating for is great. I think the space definitely needs some sort of like insider regulatory, like, people to band together and create that sort of community and give that regulation. But I think Mario said it briefly before he went back on mute. I mean, let's be honest here, Katz and Kim, we've been advocating for such a group to come forward since as early as 2017, if not 2014. I think there's a lot of, things that the community that we ourselves have to work on to come together, because it's very easy for us to advocate and make initiatives towards it. But I definitely think that, ultimately, I don't want it to have to be where we need like 3 or 4 more of the same FTX situations before we actually like come together and start making some things happen. But to the point of why not let the web, whatever I think Katz mentioned, like the web 0 point, however he phrased it, to take control, is, to be honest with you, they have the established, teams and people ready for such situations. And I think it's better that we partner with them and maybe be like the leading partners in that, sort of entity rather than trying to go out and create our own sort of group? Because we've tried this many times. I mean, even as early as 2014, but has much even come about doing that? And Kim, I know you have
I agree with you. I'm just saying we should get in front of that rather than be reactive to see rather than waiting to see what they do and they put out. I'm suggesting that we get in front of it and say, here's what we think that you should put in, and this is the global community coming to you to try to help do this. So, and then they're going to go off and do whatever they do. That's all. It's just I want to front run it rather than be reactive and then try to change it after because they're going to overreach. Guaranteed they're going to overreach.
I have a suggestion here. We have a space going every single day, Mario. Why don't we dedicate one day to get people like Catskill in here and to actually make suggestions for regulations? And we have, someone who takes notes, writes it all down. We create a white paper for regulators and we send it to them.
I've already suggested this to Mario too. Mario, I DM'd you. We've already been working on this stuff for a while now, and so I would like just anyone on listening to this that can contribute. Maybe you have a certain skill set of exchanges, and kind of what best practices are for them that they should be following. Please do DM me, and I'll throw everyone into a Telegram chat together, and we can start the framework for what this looks like.
Yeah, but even better, let's have an open discussion about it.
For sure. 100%. Yeah, I would love that. But I'm just saying that someone needs. We've been talking about something for a while, as someone said, but no one's taken the initiative to actually do these things. And I've been building something for the token stuff that I talked about before already. Because it's a huge problem. So we actually just need to do something about it, and we need a bunch of people who have loud voices, with a lot of reach to help us, create a standard across the space that everybody's aware of, because this will only work if everybody knows that these are best practices and that they should only be working with projects or businesses that are following these things.
I'm also in a working group
Mario,
about this.
Why don't we do this? Just a second. Why don't we do this for 2-3 days? We tweet out that we are going to have one session where we're going to take suggestions, that we can put to regulators from the audience. People can register or somehow reply to those tweets and say why they think they're qualified to come up as a speaker and make suggestions. And then we have it all really neatly organized. And when we do this in 2-3 days, then we'll just have one session where we'll take down everything that people say and create a document and submit that to regulators. And I'm pretty sure if we do give a few days notice, the regulators themselves will come in here and will listen to that.
Yeah, so I love just wanted to just respond to Kim and Kyle 100%. So the team is listening to this right now. So we'll discuss offline. I know last week has been a bit crazy, and we have a lot of regulators in contact, in communication with us, and obviously they come in the audience every day. So I think it's a really good idea. Kim and Kyle, I know you've been messaging me about this for a couple of days. It's been a bit crazy. So I'll let Orbis speak, and then Ajit, I'd love your take on this. And then we go, OKX is about to come on stage, which I always want to applaud every exchange that comes up on stage. So we ask the tough questions and get a bit more clarity for the audience. But I'll let, while preparing the stage for OKX, Orbis and Ajit, go ahead, guys.
Hey, I just wanted to quickly add that the push for regulation is good. And I think that we should not exclude, in fact, we should include companies like Coinbase, Circle, who have been actively pushing for regulations. So all what I wanted to suggest was, when we host these spaces, let's try to get Jeremy and Dante, right, from Circle. They have been working closely with the regulators anyway, and they'll have something important to shed. So let's get the exchanges that are already working with regulators involved, because they have, and I am obviously not discounting citizen knowledge, but these guys are deep working in regulation. So why not, get them involved?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to now introduce you to the
before,
director of OKX.
Sorry, but before we get the director of OKX, I just want to get Ajit's take on this before, and then we can kick it off with Lennox. Sorry, Ajit, I know you had your hand up as well, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to just literally take 60 seconds. I have had experience as an exchange CEO working with regulators in Malta, Singapore, Australia, and India. Here is something that I should tell you, and I hope I'm proven wrong as early as tomorrow. But whenever regulators have welcomed industry participation and actually invited us and said, let's talk to you, you know who is the biggest enemy of the industry, that is the crypto industry? It is the other people in the crypto industry. It is not the regulator. And regulators pull their hair out telling us, you know, who do I listen to? Two exchange CEOs or two different people come and say two different things, sometimes completely contradictory. That was point number one. Point number two is that it is not about whether we like regulators, invite regulators, or don't. Regulation is going to come into this place. That is undeniable. Whether desirable or not is subject to debate. And point number three is that generally in spaces such as this, I hear several people say, you know, regulators don't understand this and that. My experience with dealing with the top regulators is that they completely understand what we are saying. They may not agree with it, but they do completely understand what we are saying. Just thought I'll share my opinion with you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, man. You've been in the space since the early days of all this saga, giving us a lot of clarity, Ajit, from your experience at leading the top exchange in India. Chet, I'll let you do the introductions for Lennox, because I'm pretty excited for this. So the mic is yours, man.
Yeah, so Lennox, the director of the OKX exchange, is with us now to talk about what they see here in the markets from their side of their exchange. Lennox, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself first, and then we can start going into what you see about the SPF climate and everything else going on in the markets.
Yep. So thank you for having me. I have been here for so long for the conversation. So I really want to stress that it's a very damaging for the industry in terms of confidence, in terms of reputation as well, for anyone to, especially for crypto or central exchange per se. But I would like to really want to stress that FTX and Alameda business model is actually very, very unique. Uh, Even if you have an insider uh, as an exchange operator, if you compare how they operate, how they generate profits, how they spend versus the other major exchanges, Binance, OKX, Bitfinex, Coinbase, for example, we normally uh, Alameda and FTX is actually the only exchanges that build from historically a previous top tier market makers, which is Alameda. They have been very active on all the other exchanges, including OKX for long, and they subsequently debuted exchanges, FTX. So, what I'm saying that is, the other exchange, Alexandria Exchange, most notably do not have a team or actually the DNA for them to run a trading profit that's generating as a majority of the trading activities. Most of the exchanges, major exchanges, purely operating their op matching engines as a primary source of revenue and profits. Um, so, what I'm observing from, actually, I'm the very first one to get called by SBF. One of the first, I believe, before they even call finance.
Sorry, just quickly, Lennox, your mic, I don't know if you can get it a bit closer to your mouth. I understood everything you're saying, but it's just a bit hard for the audience.
Yep.
I'll let you continue. You said you're one of the first to contact Sam?
No, Sam is one of the first to contact us before they reach out
Okay.
to Binance, because I think Sam's understand our strategic positionings. That's the potential merger or anything strategic cooperation between OKX and FTX will be hugely beneficial. We actually want to help. We actually want to help. We actually want to see what we can do to help SPF and FTX. But after several hours, because we only got few hours in terms of making decisions, the very final call that we have SPF is, hey, we actually literally asked them how much money you need, how much cash we need, and what time. And what we can see back in time is a $7 billion holes. It's actually, and we have to make decision in literally a few hours. It's actually quite difficult for us. So our based on advice is, uh, we advise SBF to talk to ZZ to actually stabilize the market first and stabilize the FTT value first. So that is the end of the conversation between me and SBF. So Uh, so it's very damaging. So after everything unfolds, after everything unravels, we can see that there's a lot of disappointment within SPF FTX and how they manage the client money. But exchange ecosystem has been here for so long, for 5 years. Everyone has a very robust accounting system, the management system. I have strong belief that major exchanges they have a very strong tendency that they do not need to trade or add leverage based on current assets. That's not their business model for so long, including OKX.
One question for you, Linux, just in relation to before we get more back into the FTX questions and the general exchange questions on how OKX runs its operations. Of course, this morning we heard the news that you all had halted from Solana chain USDT and USDC deposit and withdrawals. Has that been reopened? And can you explain the reasoning for why it happened?
Yeah, we just because one of the reason is a little lack of demand currently for especially we are not delisting Solana per se. Just to clarify, with delisting first the derivative contract related as underlying a Solana. The other one is the USDT and USDC that build on Solana network. We just stopped supporting withdrawing deposits. Most of the reason is right now most of the USDT and USDC actually run and operates on Ethereum and TRX network. So most of probably on lack of demand.
Okay.
The next question I have, just in the discussions with Sam early on, you did give us clarity that the situation with SBF and Alameda is something very unusual in the space, and so you're saying that because we've spoken to others and other exchanges, and especially in the last couple of days, and they had concerns about some players. No one mentioned any names. There were just some implied names that I'm not going to mention because they're implied. Do you think there are other exchanges that were not doing the right thing, or and potentially what is the terms as chat? Hypotheticating.
Hypothecating.
Client funds. So using client funds for trading.
Oh, you're talking about repothecating.
The repothecating client funds. So essentially using client funds for trading is essentially what FTX was doing with Alameda. So do you have concerns, without naming other exchanges, that we could see other exchanges that weren't doing the right thing for?
Yeah, based on my understanding, at least on the major exchanges, they do have a very strong ring fences system that even if they have a proprietary index, that's usual practice for them. They have a very clear cuts in terms of financial system between Intel money and Treasury, how much money they put in the proprietary trading fund. Like I mean, exclusively on major exchanges, based on my understanding, and obviously uh, is even the fact that we might see maybe some other smaller player will kind of like commingle kind of money fund. That's just purely my speculation. They can never operate at a scale like Alameda and FTX. They can never.
And now just to some kind of questions I'm sure everyone also would like to know about OKX, given the way everyone says the biggest question.
Before, do you mind? I want to ask you a couple of questions about the Sam thing. Yeah. Before I know that the main questions will be about OKX itself, but just in terms of your initial communications with Sam, Linux, we're trying to get a sense of Sam. Again, this is just pure speculation, and from your discussions, how was Sam in those initial calls? We've had a lot of people, some spoke to Sam, some not, and the image we have at the moment is it's just either it took a while for reality to hit Sam, or maybe there's still hope. Maybe there was or still is some hope. What was, because the more we discover is that the hole is really, really, really deep. And the things that were done, including the report that was read out by Chet today, it's looking very concerning. Is Sam just taking time to for reality to kick in?
Actually, the very first call that we received, based on perception from Sam that talked to us, is mostly everything's under control. But at a certain point of time, they might need some cash, and we're talking about 1 or 2 billion. And at the point of time, obviously, we want to help because we do want to stabilize the market. We don't. We do want to try our best to help as best as we can. And then I need to go to sleep, right? It's a late night at home Asia time. But a couple of hours later, the situation seemingly unfold to a very difficult and critical situations. So that by that time we understand that that's actually around seven. We were told that's around 7 billion a hold within that book. So that's why we need more help.
And from that from your discussions with Sam and discussions with other exchanges and others in the space behind the scenes, does it seem what it's looking like for us is that a lot of it was intentional, or was it negligence and mistakes being done by Sam?
Oh, so I'm sure Sam have full knowledge on this, or at least a majority of knowledge on this. Whether or not it's intentional is hard to predict because a majority of the assumptions of their assets is actually based on FTT and Solana and Serum. So in that context, FTT is obviously one of the most stable platform tokens among all the exchanges, and similarly is a lot of institutions accepted as the FTT as a form as collateral, right? So it doesn't. Sam might not be necessarily consider FTT might be have one day crash, have bank one crash to zero, and the subsequent wipe up the entire collateral value. That might be beyond his control and estimations. So, but part of that would be intentional, obviously. Uh, uh,
Okay, and I'm just having a look through the questions from the audience before we go to OKX. Okay, so you seem pretty from the discussion we just had, and then there's a few questions from the audience that kind of are asking that same question. Is that you don't think there's too many dominoes left to fall? If there's other exchanges that we're commingling with user funds, it's not going to be at the same scale or even close to the same scale as FTX.
we cannot.
And okay, so I know that the next question that from the audience is, there was the report that Chet read today about more FTT tokens minted after the bankruptcy filing. So again, which shows very unethical, illegal behavior. Do these things are these things surprising to you guys, or it's just looking like we're past the stage of surprise and illegal shit was and still being done? Not sure if you've heard that news.
Yeah, it's a new information to me, but every time I receive news, today we understand that how FTX have internal governance, how they control their fund. Every day is a surprise to me. Every day is a disappointment to me.
And Chet, do you want to mention the news? Sorry, one last thing, and I'll give it to Kim. Chet, do you want to mention the news you mentioned about what Enron said, the new CEO who worked at Enron? I remember that this is the worst crisis he's seen, the worst whatever he's seen in 40 years in his career. Is that it, Chet?
Yes, correct. Basically, the guy from Enron said that he's never seen any financial books basically mismanaged this bad, ever.
Yeah, if the allegation is true, I think it's a very basic mistake. It's a basic management governance failure. It's also another disappointment to me from me.
Kim?
Yeah, Lennox, hey, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Sam has said that his main focus now is to try and make his users, his customers whole, those who've lost their deposits. Um, I know he's listening to us. We've heard it from numerous sources now. What advice would you give him in this situation? What is the best thing he can do to try and, get enough money for some of the assets that are now in the bankruptcy proceeding? How can you raise the money to make his customers whole? Like, what would you do?
Yeah, right now, the facts right now is FTX already raised Chapter 11. But if you take a look at the balance sheets, a lot of them, FTX or Alameda has done is actually quite valuable, especially on licensing perspective. And a lot of very exciting, interesting venture by the visions that SPS would like to tokenize stock and make it tradable within crypto ecosystem. So Step Alameda Flamengo Fund assigned a lot of very interesting vision and licensing structure might be really valuable to other crypto player. So for example, the derivative clearing license might be very interesting for to obtain a bet, right? So I'm thinking that they do have some liquid asset that already has a price in a market value that's easy sell. Another way to she should try to restructure their licensing business because all the central exchanges, all the player within the crypto platform, they're really looking for getting license or being regulated in some sort, or at least a portion of the component being regulated, right? So it's just an inevitable trend. So it happened to be done a lot of work on this. I think to try to maximize the value on that front, and hopefully, I really hope that a majority of fund will be quickly recovered and solved because actually a lot of clients on FTX equally and OKX client as well.
Chet, do you want to ask your questions about OKX now? I think it's important for clarity for the audience, for anyone that has concerns.
Yes. So Lennox, the first question would be, how do you custody your assets for your customers?
We have our obviously cold wallet, hot wallet, but our cold wallet design is a little bit different than the other exchanges. We have a vast amount of cold wallet that's distributed in different kinds of cold wallets because we have been building exchange for so many years. So the very first thing that we want to avoid is to honeypot issue. We don't want to have a one single wallet that have contain a majority of our fund. So majority of the time that we design, one of the wallet design system is we're trying to segregate cold wallets in a relatively distributed fashions, and we change our cold wallet address relatively frequently.
Okay, and do you store your assets one-to-one, or how does that look?
Obviously one-to-one, so obviously we arrange proof of reserve in less than 30 days. It's a cryptographic accounting procedures going to be announced very soon.
Okay, and are you going to do the Merkle tree?
Yes, obviously. I'm going to announce very soon within 10 days.
So one question: do you recommend, and we've had other exchanges recommend it? It's less of a concern now, but it was a concern more 2 days ago. But would you say to users, is it a good idea to remove your funds from centralized exchanges until we have more clarity and the dust settles, or you don't think that's necessary?
I think it's a choice, right? It's an option. I think right now it makes sense for everyone to learn about self-custody issue at least, right? Maybe it's very difficult to try to learn about cold wallet, hot wallet, but self-custody issues, self-custody solutions. I think at least there's a good chance. It's a good chance to learn about it to withdraw a portion of their fund back to a self-custody infrastructure. It's easy right now. User experience great. OKX Web3 wallet just build the self-custody wallet within the same app, right? It's easy. So I recommend user to use that. And if you do want to trade, just move to the central exchange to trade. Exchange do have a customer service, margin, all kind of fancy stuff. So you just move the necessary fund that you require to trade and move to centralized exchange to trade on that.
Actually, again, it's a good reminder for everyone listening. The exchanges that are doing the right thing, they want you to learn about self-custody. It's your choice. They don't mind if you remove your funds from centralized exchanges. And it's a reminder that any exchange that tells you there's no need, don't worry, keep your exchange, and gives you incentives to keep your money in an exchange, at least times like this, it's a red flag. So I want to applaud. I want to applaud, other exchanges that come on stage, and now OKX joins that list. They've done the right thing, given transparency. I'll write a tweet with my thoughts on it as well. And Lennox, you giving us your time in a time like this is something that other exchanges should be doing as well. We've had a lot of them do that. I do want to mention quickly for the audience as well. I've just retweeted. And so we had someone reach out to us just now, and they work at a crisis mitigation firm, and they also have a major whistleblower that a core whistleblower that we will be verifying and bringing on stage. But we won't be doing it today. I was just talking to the team. Everyone's I know that a lot of you excited. I'm seeing the emojis, but the team is pretty exhausted. We've just run this show 7 days. Today's day 7. So I will end the show after this OKX discussion, have Lennox give final words of recommendation for the audience and for Sam directly, because we know Sam is either listening to this right now or took a break and will listen to the recording. And for the audience, if there's any breaking news, you'll see me immediately kick out a space to deal with it and update the audience. I think that's one thing we've kind of decided to do. We've got a few things being done in the background as well. I have retweeted and pinned above the show for the one that's planned for tomorrow, where the whistleblower and other special guests will come in. So if you want to go there and register and turn on notifications just to get reminded of when that show starts, it will be tomorrow in about 18 hours. You can go there. I've pinned it above in the space, and I've retweeted it on my account, so you can go there and just get notified. But otherwise, before I give the final words to Lennox, I want to again applaud all the panelists, applaud everyone that's come on stage, give clarity to the audience. The amount of help we've given people that are struggling, that financially lost a lot of money. I was going through all the comments from people yesterday before going to bed. It literally took me an hour and a half to go through all the comments on one tweet. It's like 400 comments or something, and people were saying how they've learned more about crypto in the last few days from this show than they have since they started. They got into the space a year or two ago. So times like this is perfect for education, understanding various aspects of the space, and of course reassurance at a time of uncertainty. So just wanted to mention that again.
Mario, do you mind if I add to that very quickly?
Yeah, please do. And then Lennox, stay with us because I'll give you the final word before ending the show. Go ahead, Piotr.
No, I just wanted to say, like, as someone who's on the fringe, and for many people who I know follow me around Twitter, they've come into your space and have dabbled in crypto and are, have learned so much. So I just want to really emphasize how much of an impact you have and everybody here on stage, all the panelists, all the speakers, all the whistleblowers, to learning about this situation, the industry, the importance of getting clarity, and just generally the relentless dedication of you and your team. It's incredible. So I just wanted to give you a shout out, mate, because it's incredible stuff. So kudos to you.
Absolutely. And Mario, just one thing, obviously I resonate with everything that Piotr said. It's been an amazing show. I should personally say I've got to learn a lot as well. But Mario, while we have Lennox here, there was one question that I or rather a clarification that I wanted OKX to talk about, which was, since we were on the topic of self-custody, even OKX has a wallet, and that is a Web3 wallet, and it is a self-custody wallet. I know that many people actually get confused, and right now I can understand that confusion, because a lot of folks think that, hey, if the wallet belongs to an exchange, it has to be a custodial wallet, and if I put funds in that wallet, those funds are going to be owned by the exchange. So since OKX is one of the few exchanges providing a self-custody wallet, I wanted them to emphasize and reiterate to the audience as to the difference between, a self-custody wallet like OKX Web3 wallet versus a Coinbase custodial wallet. It's definitely confusing. And Mario, Chet, if you are okay with it, can we ask for that clarification?
Yeah, I think it's very important for the audience. So Lennox, would you like to give that clarification for the audience?
Yeah. So
Also, just one small addition, Lennox. Is it open source wallet too? It's just a small. Is it an open source wallet? That's what we don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think thank you. So very great explanation. So the definition of self-custody wallet is it is your key, and you own the coin. And OKX, the pure OKX, most product is really focused on user experience. using that particular wallet for you to help you to cross interaction with different kind of bridges and for you to participate in NFT marketplace, for you to buy or sell at the best price on all the other chains. So it's purely product and purely product optimization, purely product features. So we don't hold and own your coin because you own your wallet, the self-custody wallet. That's what we're talking about. What we do, what OKX we really want to do, as actually one doing, is trying to optimize the user experience because currently it's suck, it's very bad, of all kind of self-custody in the Web3 wallets and work exactly like a central, having exactly the same experience as centralized features and functions. That's what we do, what we're doing here.
Cool. So Lennox, I'll give you the final words. Fiddy, I'll let you ask a quick question before we give Lennox the final words.
Before we go to the final words, I just want to let everyone know that, of course, a press release was just dropped from FTX on their official Twitter a few minutes ago, saying that they have established Kroll as its claims agent, and all official documents filed with the U.S. Bankruptcy Court are now going to be at kroll.com/FTX. Or it's cases.ra.kroll.com/FTX. But they're saying that today, that by filing voluntary petitions for reorganization under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware, FTX Group is operating. FTX Group and approximately 101 affiliated additional companies underneath it is operating under the jurisdiction of the federal court, and all company actions, including company transactions such as transfers and withdrawals, must be approved by the federal court. FTX Group also noted that the only authorized and official Twitter account for the company is FTX_official, and all social communications from FTX Group and its executives will be relayed exclusively through that account. So this is FTX basically pushing back on the idea that the Bahamas could take over this.
Fiddy?
Yeah, thank you, Mario. I just wanted you for having me up, and I wanted to just say you've been doing such a great job with the coverage. I mean, even my mom called me today, and she's just saying, she asked me if I know who you are because you're on Fox, you're on CNN, you're everywhere. And I just wanted to tell everybody this is a great time to kind of look at what's gone on. And really, we get a physical every year on our bodies and things like that. This is a great time to look at the situation and understand we need to do a physical on our crypto, like your ledgers or how your hard wallets. Take the time to really take control of your assets. I know we've been talking about this, but this really has brought this to light. And thank you, Mario, for like bringing this and doing all the work you do. You've been awesome. You broke the record for Twitter. So again, I really emphasize on just everybody check your seed phrases. Make sure you're keeping your phrases in the place that if there's a fire, if there's a flood, you're safe. And I know it's a tough time for everybody, but we really need to take control of our own crypto. And like you've been saying, not your wallet, not your keys, not your wallet, however you want to put it. Let's just be safe.
Appreciate you sharing that. Lennox, OKX existed for many years. Great reputation. We've worked with OKX at IBC. So final words, what damage do you think that has done for the industry? How long do you think it will take us to recover? And, we have a lot of press and regulators in the space pretty much all the time. So any final words for regulators, for the press, and for Sam directly as well?
Yeah, I'm kind of, despite the fact that it's very damaging, but also very confident and optimistic about industry because every time the industry experiences such a dramatic event, a ghost moment, the Phoenix moment, regulation kick in, tighten. Normally, we see even bigger growth of the industry. So if you look back on a longer term duration, we'll see that because of that particular incident, our industry, in terms of trust and confidence, everyone will improve. We will be improved. All the crypto platform will be improved, at least on the transparency, internally, externally, and also the regulator will improve. They know what's the critical point to prove their user, their customer, that to showcase centralized platform is a safe place to trade. So in a longer term perspective, the longer term maybe talking about 1 year, 1.5 year based on the experience, you will see another bull run, and you will see another big trend, and at particular point of time, you will equally see that there will be a lot more safe and transparent, robust counterparty and exchange platform that you can trade with. Maybe final word to Sam is if he's listening, is we really want from Sam to really focus on one thing, is related to client asset recovery. I know there's a lot of debacle, a lot of debate, a lot of conspiracy, but what he needs to do is actually try as best as he can to recovery of their client assets. And as OKX, we do want to help. We want to help in indirectly participate of any kind of deal, any kind of recovery plan. We're happy to listen and work with other industrial players to help on any kind of fund that currently stuck on FTX.
Hey,
Appreciate you
Lennox,
for sharing this. I want to end
so
it.
great what you just said, and I really want to thank you for that because we started this space in the very beginning with the goal to try and find a resolution, a solution for the customers that have been hurt, right? And do me a favor, please follow me after you leave here because I have some ideas how we may be able to help these customers, and I would like to discuss them with you. Also, just one thing that I just have to do because I feel what happened earlier with Jump Crypto was wrong. I see Mario, you retweeted their tweet about saying that these were false rumors and they debunked it, but I think we owe them an apology. And we need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So, on the behalf of this group that has been working here for several days to provide clarity to the community, I want to apologize to Jump Crypto that there was a false rumor spread about your business. So, I hope no hard feelings.
Cool, love it, appreciate it, everyone. Thanks, Kim, for
Brilliant,
the summary.
folks.
Okay,
Brilliant.
appreciate OKX for coming on stage, guys. Today is probably the first day in a week I'm going to be able to actually do something other than responding to tweets or hosting the show, unless there's more breaking news that Chet busts my balls
I've got some breaking news.
No, bro, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, last time I believed you, now was it's like a 20-hour.
You were so serious.
Yeah, Lennox, I had a space once for like 20 something, 16, 20 hours, like non-stop space. And then we were ending, and the reason it was non-stop is like every time it ends, there's breaking news. I think that's when the missiles fell in Russia as well, in Poland. And then I was ending the space, I'm like, finally, and like saying thanks to everyone. And Piotr jumps in and says, hey, you got some sound effects from your end, Lennox. I don't know if it's intentional, but then Piotr jumps in and says, hey, breaking news, and my heart just drops because I was exhausted. I was starting to hallucinate. And it got so bad, Lennox, no joke, in my dreams, I've never usually have nightmares. In my dreams, I'm hearing the ding, ding, because chat has that notification when there's breaking news.
All right, I can't hear any of y'all, but if you can hear me, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, we can hear you. Yep. So I was hearing those notifications, and there was breaking news in my damn nightmares. It was that bad. So hopefully now today is gonna be the first normal sleep I have, and getting back to my normal calm life while still doing the show for everybody. But otherwise, appreciate all the panelists, all the listeners, and we've got some special guests being validated for tomorrow. As always, love you all. Thank you so much, and thanks to co-hosts as well.
People want to know, are you going to get 8 hours of sleep today?
I will, my friend. I will.
Yeah, baby. Get some sleep, dude.
So it's absolutely crazy ass week. Really crazy ass week. I don't know how to explain it. Oh man. So printing, I guess the US government doesn't really set a good example by money printing the way they have been throughout the pandemic. But cryptocurrency exchanges, coming up or popping up, making a new token, whatever it might be, like let's say Vega. There's the exchange called Vega, which obviously is my last name, Chris Vega. Pleasure to meet you. Creates an exchange. We'll call it Vega Crypto or something like that. And then we create the Vega coin, right? If somebody wants to create that coin, feel free. But this is the point that some of you are making. So We print a bunch of those, or we make a bunch of those. We might limit the supply, we might not. And then we buy a huge allocation of that, or majority of our portfolio is that holdings. All right, various exchanges start seeing the coin pump, so they start getting a large bag. We're talking billions of dollars or millions of dollars of this shit coin that somebody just printed up, and is holding a lot of. So that becomes the majority of that cryptocurrency or that crypto exchange reserve. That coin goes to shit, right? Because Binance or whoever wants to sell 585 million. And of course, that pushes the price lower, causing you yourself, your exchange, to have issues. So stopping the whole making something out of nothing, printing cryptocurrency out of thin air, is a huge concern. I think USDT has been doing this for the longest time, right? We've seen this with USDT. When a particular cryptocurrency was having issues, they printed a bunch of USDT, flooded the market, yada yada yada. So yeah, this is absolutely nuts, but you won't be impacted if you don't have your fucking cryptocurrency on an exchange. And while Mario, Kim, and some of these guys are left field. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of these guys are left field. Some of their ideas or assumptions or speculation, and they're trying to vet the information as it comes to them, and provide concise data, not speculation, not hearsay, not assumption. Like the whole missile situation in between Poland, Ukraine, and Russia. The beginning there was really getting out of hand. I'm happy some of the veterans, Air Force officers, Army officers, leadership joined the call and was kind of clearing up and saying, hey, let's not assume, let's not speculate. We don't have data. We don't have boots on the ground yet. Let's get the facts first, because it was getting a little bit crazy in there. And I listened to those guys not with the mindset of everything they're saying is gospel, and they don't want you to do that. Obviously, they're working just as hard to get data, vet the data, make sure that they bring on speakers that they feel is going to bring a tangible benefit to the space. But don't rely on anybody else. Don't the Bible, and you may not be religious, the Bible says trust no man, and that includes woman or person or entity or whatever. Be your own bank. And that's the whole point. That's the reason why Satoshi created this cryptocurrency in the first place. Started off with Bitcoin, is to bank the unbanked, to give the people, the average end user, the capability to store their wealth, to store their funds without having to keep it in a central authority like a bank. And here we are keeping all of our funds on a fucking exchange. So when shit hits the fan, yes, we lose our funds. And it's quite unfortunate. But I have yet to see anybody, and Mario and Kim and a couple others called for it, just educate people on how to, secure their own funds, how to, self-custody and stuff like that. And I haven't seen any of the big guys do that yet. And I can only reach a few thousand people, maybe 20, maybe 12. And, I can probably articulate myself well in these videos, but if it doesn't reach the masses, I can't do anything. So then it really comes down to, we need some of the big guys, instead of focusing on the fucking drama, to actually push out content, to help promote, the educational aspect of it. Here's what a full node wallet looks like. What's the cons with a full node wallet? What's the pros with a full node wallet? Here's what mobile wallets are. Here's what browser extensions are. All of those videos I'm working on, some of them are recorded. They just get scheduled out later on. But again, we're focusing on the drama instead of the educational aspect, and I need their help. I doubt anybody will watch this from the higher ups. And I call them higher ups. They're just average people just like us. It's just they've been around the space. Well, I've been around this space for a long time too. So it's not about seniority. It's just that they grew so much faster than I did, and maybe it's something about the way they present themselves, the entertainment value, the personal value. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't really matter, because my goal of this channel is to help people out, and you guys can help me out, because again, we're focusing on the drama while I'm trying to focus on helping others in some form or fashion. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but it could definitely use your help. So if you see a video come out, even if you know what the hell a full node wallet, even if you know what the hell a mobile wallet is, even if you know, MetaMask, browser extensions, feel free, if you see my Twitter, to tweet it out, retweet, tag some people. I don't know. I'm putting hashtags. I'm doing everything I know from the social media standpoint. I'm not getting the traffic or the attention to really actually make an impact. And I know I can make an impact because I've done it before. Like for example, videos. Some of my most viewed videos are, a MacBook and how to save yourself $500, $300 at the Apple store or what have you, Apple certified technician, just by simply opening the back or the bottom up, disconnecting the LCD screen and reconnecting, or the Dodge Journey XMN, Sirius radio getting stuck, how to fix that. So those are my top viewed videos. So I know I can help people, but because you see a small ass number below my video, you automatically assume whatever you assume and you move on. So hopefully it reaches some people and helps others out. If you can educate your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle, whoever the fuck it is in your family and friends, hey, don't keep all your Bitcoin on Cash App, right? Hey, don't keep all your Bitcoin on Coinbase. Hey, you're buying Bitcoin on whatchamacallit. Wow, I can't think. What's the new one that Wall Street Bets took a hammer to? I can't remember the name of it. But like that and PayPal, you don't really own the cryptocurrency. You don't own the seed phrase. You don't have rights to that crypto. You can buy and sell, but you can't like withdraw to your own Bitcoin wallet. And the reason people want this, as some of you called out, is because it's convenient. It's convenient. It's easy. Robinhood, thank you. Yeah, so Robinhood, PayPal. My sister's got some Ethereum and some Bitcoin on Robinhood, but I told her the other day, I was like, if something were happening to Robinhood, you're SOL, right? Move those funds. I would sell that position because you can't, again, withdraw that Bitcoin directly to a wallet that you control. Sell that position, get your USD back, take that USD, go to a different exchange that isn't going to fuck everybody over, which honestly, it looks like everybody is in the hot seat right now. There's so much funds coming off the market. It's awesome to see, but it's bad at the same time because obviously that brings with it more volatility. But like many of you have been saying in the chat, and many of you have been preaching along with myself, if you're not trading it, why are you keeping it there? And a lot of people, why did they keep it there? We can answer that question. We can answer that question right now. They're keeping it on an exchange because it's convenient for one, but then two, they don't know where else to store the damn thing. They didn't know that Bitcoin.org is the more common Bitcoin wallet than Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is for Bitcoin Cash, and we all know about that situation. So they're just going to whatever pops up first. And when you do a search, let's do it right now. If you do a search and we search Bitcoin wallet, the first fucking things that pop up are centralized applications. There's Luno. And now Luno does have the capability. I have a Luno wallet to where you can back up your 12 word seed phrase, 24, whatever that might be, so on and so forth. But 9 times out of 10, especially if you just search the word Bitcoin, it's going to come up with some investment fund or centralized authority. And so people are going to go to whatever is easiest for them. What's the quickest way to go, right? Exodus is a good GUI, right? Coinbase is right here. So the other day I saw M1 Finance. So it just really depends, and it's not getting any easier because this damn crypto space, as some of you have mentioned in the live chat, I think it was either Village or WSI, is we got too many fucking cryptos. We have almost 22,000 cryptocurrencies. 99 or about 98.7% of that is shit coins that have no tangible benefits to it whatsoever. None whatsoever. I probably look like shit, but I don't care. I'm gonna turn on the camera. Let me see if I can get it working. Hang on. There you go. Yeah, I look like shit. And my laundry basket's right behind me. So, I'm just a guy in his bedroom, don't even have a proper studio, that is trying to help others. Why? Because that's just what I do. If anybody knows me outside of this YouTube, this screen that you see me in, you know that I strive to help others in everything that I do. Every single thing. If you can't do the job right, don't do it at all. Everything you do, give it 110%. It's the way, my military family raised me. The military has taught me is, give it 110%. Do the best in everything that you can do. Don't half-ass shit. There's a code of honor. There's a layer of trust. And right now, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust the assholes at the top that own, FTT token, or that have a majority stake in Solana, or have a decent number of control over some of these cryptocurrencies. You can't trust them because you don't know what's going to happen, right? You can only trust yourself. So keep all your crypto in something that you control, like PancakeSwap. You could come up to me and be like, oh, well, there's no wallet for that. Yeah, there is a wallet for that. It's just it's not going to be as easy as it would be to go to a centralized authority, right? If we go to markets, PancakeSwap is available on Binance. That's a centralized exchange. Oh, KuCoin? Okay, that's a centralized exchange. Oh, BitThumb? Oh, that's a centralized exchange. However, with a browser extension, I can interact and control and maintain my PancakeSwap, right? But then that's on a browser extension. And then some people are like, oh, I don't like extensions, blah, 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 blah. The only thing I got is ad blocker. So it really comes down to what do they need? What are they looking for? What are they looking to achieve? And honestly, I'm considering if I can do it before I leave from Miami next weekend, I would like to host a live stream where I answer some of y'all's questions. And not you per se, because some of you that are watching right now know what I would talk about and how I would coach somebody. And if somebody comes to me and was like, hey, I'm looking at this new token, it's called Dexflow, how can I store that securely? Well, obviously we're going to look through it. We're going to go through some basics and see what are the options available to us. First thing I would say is, off rip, I would not be getting into this coin, but that's not the point. The point is that I'm considering doing a live stream where I help newcomers one-on-one or multiple identify what's a good way for them, right? Because they might be a mobile user, always on the go. They don't use their desktop or laptop often. They might be a desktop person. They barely use their phone. They might be a person that's very paranoid and they want to get the best security that they could for their cryptocurrency. So then that would be cold storage, like a hardware wallet or a paper wallet. But a paper wallet would be bad for somebody that's clumsy and loses their phone or loses this or loses that. So there's all these pros and cons to everything. And it's all about finding the right mix for your needs and your situation. For a single mom that's always on the go with 3 children, trying to build wealth for herself, very concerned about what happened with FTX and stuff like that. Honestly, my advice to that lady, and this is not financial advice, but my advice to that lady is, instead of investing in all these shit coins and all these altcoins, which might, and that's why people get into it, right? They're hoping for, oh man, I could buy XYZ coin at, 2/10 of a penny. But if it blows up to 10 cents or blows up to $1, I could be a thousandaire, a millionaire. And they're looking for these coins to try to get a bag of, hoping that they can make a change in their life, ultimately paying the price for it because, one central authority or exchange or multiple have failed them because they wanted to print a bunch of their shit tokens and hold a big bag of it. So I would say to that mom, instead of doing that, you should liquidate your altcoins, the coins that you were hoping to make millions off of, and just get into what's tried and true. What I mean by tried and true is Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the top cryptocurrencies out there that have been around for the longest time. All right. The biggest thing I love about Bitcoin is nobody can go shut it off right now. It's kind of like, some of the piracy websites out there, right? The government keeps shutting down, Pirate Bay or whatever other website, and then a new server pops up. They go shut it down, a new server pops up, right? Like, they can't go to one central place and be like, you need to stop. They can't. They can't stop it. As long as there is internet connection or some type of connection between nodes, between peers, between people, then Bitcoin will continue to survive. As far as profitability and mining wise, that's a different story. But I'm just saying, like, nobody has central control of it, and you can't shut it down. The only way you can shut it down is if you made the whole world have no internet. So a giant EMP goes off, the world ceases to exist, whatever. That's the only way you're going to stop Bitcoin. Ethereum's got my concern because why? It's centralized now. It's very centralized considering the fact that it moved to proof of stake. And if the government, especially here in the US, goes to Amazon and is like, hey, I want you to stop these nodes, they can do that. Just like we've seen with the censorship of Tornado Cash transactions. So let me read live chat real quick, and I just want to wrap up. I'm not prepared. Like, I'm in my fucking PJs, y'all. I'm in my PJs. I just wanted to stream that for you and chat. Honestly, I was going to end it right after that, but let me see here. Time to invest in ADA again. Time to invest in ADA still again, something. Well, I don't, you can call invest in this coin, invest in that coin. Nobody knows the future. Nobody knows the future. All I know is that the people behind it, right? So let's say Charles Hoskinson. Charles Hoskinson pisses me off. He's a little bit brash. His attitude's a little bit too much, but he's an intelligent, smart individual. And obviously he needs to work on building and maintaining relationships. He has a way of putting people off, but it doesn't, while it shouldn't impact his cryptocurrency, there's been times where his conversations or communications about certain topics have turned people off, causing ADA to go down. So you really want to research when you're looking at a cryptocurrency. You really want to research, and that's the thing. Everybody wants it so easy. Just tell me the coin I should buy. Tell me the coin that's gonna make me a millionaire. I want it. Just tell me it. I don't want to hear all this other shit. Just tell me it. It doesn't work that way. Like you come to YouTube to learn about a new project, maybe a new cryptocurrency, maybe a new piece of hardware, a new technology, new something. Maybe you're having an issue, so you research the problem, like, how do I change the light or turn off the light on my 2021 Dodge or whatever. You come to YouTube for answers, but a lot of people are coming to YouTube for bullshit. They're just coming here because they want the drama, they want the issues, they want the problem, they want to start an argument, and that it's the whole world that's the fucking problem. The mentality of the world, the selfishness of the world is the fucking problem, in my eyes. But, my viewpoint may be different than yours. As far as getting back to crypto, I can't tell you that Cardano is going to be around for the next 20 years. However, if we look at the market history, it's an OG. It's not a true OG, 2011, 2012, but it's an OG. It's been in the space. It's survived multiple bull markets and bear markets, as we can see here. So it is a coin that, I would say to that single mom with 3 kids doing it all by herself, that probably you want to get a little bit of. You want to get a little bag of. Do only what you can afford. Don't spend your rent money, your car note money. Just a little bit here and there. Dollar cost average every once in a while. And that's what would be my advice to that single mom with 3 children trying to do everything on her own. As far as everybody else, it really depends on your financial situation. There's not one that fits all. So Cardano, while it's a good project, and I like the project, and I think the creator or the individual is a jackass, but intelligent, it's something that I do have a bag of personally. And it's all about believing in the project long term. Will it go back to $1 eventually? Possibly. I could see that happening, not anytime soon, but sometime. Okay, people are moving their crypto off exchanges, but if you're DCing in small amounts, you get killed on fees. Yes. So too small, like if you're doing like little bitch ass trades, like for example, I think if we try to buy $10 of Bitcoin on Coinbase, we would pay $1 in fees, or maybe something like that, maybe 50 cents. Cash App used to have the lowest fees. That's the reason why my mom liked it. My mom is in Bitcoin. But usually you can shop around for whoever's got the lowest fees, but then they're going to be a central authority. So what you want to do is you want to buy, get your bag, get it off of the exchange, put it on whatever wallet you have full control of. But you guys all know this. Like, I'm looking at Gandalf Grey, Village BC, WSI, Octominer, all MC. All you guys know everything I'm saying. Rudd. Like, everybody, all of us are on the same page. We need to get the others on the same page. We need to make sure that they're educated and they're aware. Hey, you don't have to keep your money on Coinbase. Hey, you don't have to. And that's the problem, is all this marketing, right? let's see here, Bitcoin exchange, all this marketing, and especially that's what led to the fall of FTX, or this situation that we're in. It was too big to fail, but it failed anyways. We had Tom Brady, we had the Super Bowl ads, we had all these various ads, crypto.com, we're marketing on Formula One, we're marketing on UFC fights, we're marketing all over the place. We're spending user monies to market our company to get more users so we can use those users' funds that come in or sign up because of our marketing for some other collateral, some other bet, some other hedge. And it's continuous circle, right? You're spending money your ass can't cash. And so when it came due to pay the note, you got screwed. And we trusted various exchanges to not do stuff like that, but they still did anyways. Not to mention they could straight up get hacked. And I don't think the recent hack of FTX was a legit hack. I think that was somebody moving funds to cover their ass or to just save their wealth, because, if they lost all the money that they invested in FTX, they would be SOL. So we'll see how things go. Village BC, traditional finance, I follow coach potato methods. Basically ETFs and mix and set and forget. Crypto has no equivalent. Yeah, it's true. There is no ETF or index fund that's kind of like the S&P 500 or some of those indices that have steady growth. And see, that's the thing though. People don't want steady growth, right? They want life-changing money. They want it right now. So they're going to go buy some shit token, right? Let's go look at the trending real quick and see if there's a shit token on here with like pennies. Right? Terra Luna Classic. I don't know how this thing's still alive, but that's my point, right? This thing collapsed. We know why it collapsed, but people are still buying into it, hoping that it will recover and maybe get back to 10 cents or whatever, or something like that, so that way they can become a thousandaire, millionaire, whatever it might be. There's a lot of factors that go into it, because you got to consider, even if there was an influx of volume, what would be the market cap? What would the market cap need to be in order to reach that target? Is that target really achievable considering the current market conditions or maybe future market conditions, so on and so forth? There's a lot of variables. So buying into these, what they call penny stocks, which aren't penny stocks, they're penny crypto or less, hoping that you become a millionaire, is just going to lead you down a bad path, in my personal opinion. There is no index funds in the crypto market. I mean, there's Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF, but I know what you're talking about. There's nothing like that quite yet in the crypto space. And I think some cryptocurrencies were trying to where, you would actually own fractional shares of a cryptocurrency or of a company. I forgot the name of the group or project, but like say I wanted fractional shares of Tesla, but through crypto. I'm not sure how that worked out. I forgot the name of the project, but yeah. Strike app for BTC. Well, let's go look it up. Let's go look it up right now. Strike app. Wallet. Me. Strike. So send and receive money. So this is like BitPay, it looks like. Does it allow you the opportunity to store your own cryptocurrency, right? You whenever you download a new wallet, it should prompt you to back up your 12 to 24 word seed phrase. That's clue number one. Clue number two is in the settings, you should be able to export your wallet. So that way you can make sure you have your private keys and spend key or whatever it is that you need. So that's two things you should be looking at if you're going to download a browser extension, an app on the Google Play Store, an app off of the Apple Store. I talk about this in a video that's launching tomorrow. But this is convenient. This is smart. Now, the bad thing about this is it may not support all the cryptocurrencies that people want. And see, that's where people get caught up. Oh, it doesn't have Cardano. It only has Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. It has the top cryptocurrencies, but it doesn't have the shitcoin that I want. So then you go to a centralized exchange, you buy a bag, and then you forget about it. And the next thing you know, you're hearing tweets about the exchange collapsing. So it really just depends on what your target is. I think a lot of people right now have consolidated their targets to some of the top cryptocurrencies and got rid of a lot of their bags of all these alternative cryptocurrencies. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this just sets a bad example. So if you're expecting an influx of new market potential, new market volume to come in, I don't think it's going to happen right now. Right? Bitcoin dominance is down to 38.5. Ethereum is at 17.8. Will we ever get back to where we were before, where we were getting close to $2 trillion market cap? Possibly, just not right now. Right now, it looks like we're at 830 billion. That's billion, right? Yeah, million. So $830 billion dollars. What was the high? Yeah. Look at that market cap. We almost hit 3 trillion. Million, billion, trillion. We almost hit 3 trillion. Will we ever get back to that? Eventually. But now we got to rebuild trust because of the assholes that took advantage of people's trust. The mothers, the teacher union that some investment firm, VC firm thought it was intelligent to put all the teachers' money into for some fucking reason. I don't know why they did that. If I was in the teachers, whatever that was, that had my money, my retirement invested in Bitcoin, I would have killed them. Well, I guess I can't say that. I would have hurt them tremendously. Because I mean, some of these teachers, I don't know how old they are, but if they can't work, man, that's their life that just got ruined. And so a lot of people are like that. You may have lost a couple hundred, couple thousand, couple tens of thousands, but tens of thousands, while some people lost millions and billions. So we'll see how it goes. But that's it. The Strike app is just BTC, but you can DCA. But the question remains, what's the best way to convert fiat to crypto and buy the one you want? It's tough. Exactly. What Village BC and WSI and a number of us were talking about, there's not one convenient app to rule them all. There's not one convenient app to rule them all. I personally like Konami, but it's not very user-friendly. The GUI is kind of meh. It has bugs, it has glitches, but at least I have a way, and I can do it offline too, where I can manage my keys, I can export the wallet, I can transfer the wallet, I can store funds, and it does support a lot of cryptocurrencies, and they started building on it to where there's like dApps and DEXs and all kinds of stuff that's on here as well. So I personally like Konami. Now, if you're looking for an app to where you can use your crypto on a card, that's a different story. That's when you're going to have to use multiple apps to get that job done because Konami isn't going to do that. However, if you got BitPay and you got, XYZ cryptocurrency on Konami and BitPay supports it, you can transfer funds to that or sell it and transfer funds and then use your card as see fit. Coinbase, same thing. You can sell your cryptocurrency for USD and then use your card, but then again, that's a central authority that you don't own the keys to. So it really comes down to the person, the actual individual, the person that's listening to this right now. What do you need? What kind of user are you? Are you a mobile user? Are you a desktop user? Are you a person that you don't mind? You need browser extensions. Why would you need browser extensions? Well, maybe I want to participate in NFT drops. Maybe I want to participate in this, that, and the other. Then that's what's going to determine what kind of wallet best suits you. And I'm pulling up the Modern Investor. But this is just a perfect example, right? We could connect wallet. The only wallets that we can use from an extension standpoint is MetaMask, Binance, Coinbase Wallet, and Wallet Connect. Then there's other chains, Solana, Tezos, Immutable X. This can be daunting for the end user to fucking figure out. And I know it can. It's not easy to keep up with all this cryptocurrency, all the various wallets, all the different technologies, all the different ways that you can transact, that you can participate in an ecosystem. But once you identify, what coins you're looking for, what kind of user you are, then we can start working on, okay, here are the wallets that, would work best for your setup, for your situation, so on and so forth. And it looks like this is Wallet Connect is multiple wallets. I see Trust in there. I see a number of other wallets in there. But, once you connect it, then you can transact. But then I don't have a way to where I can just instantly sell, my Ethereum on MetaMask for USD and then use the card that's in my hand. So there's a little back and forth. So now I got to take that money. I got to send it over to BitPay or Coinbase and then use the card, blah, blah. It makes it harder for the end user, and mass adoption is still new. Hence why there's no central way to do it. And I hate saying the word central because the central authority is usually where it fails. But some people don't want the responsibility. If you say, hey, why are you keeping your money on exchange? Why don't you just store it yourself? Why don't you have self-custody, keep your crypto on a wallet that you control, that you own the private keys to and all that stuff? They're going to say, well, it's not convenient. And I don't want that kind of responsibility. And so then we're back to square one. They don't want that kind of responsibility. They don't want to be responsible for losing their own crypto because they dropped their phone in the toilet and had 2FA on and forgot to back up their key. Or they got a paper wallet and they lose the paper. Or they got a paper wallet and their dog ate it. Like, it's a hard balance, but realistically it's going to come down to the average user. You, right now, person watching this, bumping into a family member at Thanksgiving. And they ask you questions and then you educate them. And you educate them to the best of your ability, but also advise them, hey, you know what? This is what I would say and recommend. However, go check out XYZ. And maybe there might be a video that somebody did very well, because there's some very intelligent people in the crypto space that articulate themselves well, that can discuss well, that can teach very well, and kudos to them. That might help that family member or that friend. So when you're out there on Thanksgiving, just try to help whoever you can. But yeah, I'm done with my rant. I tried to do this last Saturday during the FTX crumble, but it wouldn't let me stream. Comcast is still having issues, and it isn't me, it is Comcast, because they've been doing work on the neighborhood, fucking with shit. But this is our 2008. This is our what's his name? The guy, oh my goodness, they compared him earlier. Madoff. So, SBF. It was a bunch of kids, man. It was a bunch of youngins, no board of directors, bunch of youngins playing around with billions of dollars of people's money. How did that happen? I don't know. But won't be fooled again, right? At least we hope so. All right, that teachers fund is fine. They have over 200 billion in assets. It was a mere 95 million, less than 0.05. So you think they're going to get the money back? Open source community has failed us. So Village BC, you think the teachers are going to get their money back with this bankruptcy filing? Those are good wallets. So Dan Sand says MetaMask, Atomic Wallet, Exodus Wallet, and Zelcore. Those are good wallets, all of which I use as well. Not Atomic, but Exodus. And so that's what it also, another question is do you need a GUI? Because the full node wallet is a plain Jane, where you can see the overview, receive, send, and that's pretty much it. It's plain Jane, and then you have to back up the entire blockchain on your computer. Some people like to walk around with laptops with only 235 gigabytes or 200 gigabytes on it. And, having multiple full node wallets on that device can eat up, especially with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's blockchain is 400 plus gigabytes. So it really comes down, again, to asking the right questions and then providing that information. And I would really love to do that for some people. Basically, some free consultations for individuals. We analyze what they have, what cryptocurrencies they have, what kind of user they are, and then identify some solutions to make some recommendations on what they should end up using or try to move their funds to keep everything secure. That would be the goal. When I will be able to do that, I don't know, but stay tuned and follow me on Twitter. God, my hair looks like shit. Anyways, I need a haircut. Bad. John Germain says, in 2008, the bubble popped. Teachers, police, firemen, they all lost their retirement when their cities lost their investments. The stadium around Minnesota was lost by a city. Why do cities invest in other than AAA investors? That's a good question. Dan says, if you want crypto and don't want to hold your keys, then it's your fault if they steal your crypto. That's true. It's a catch-22, man. There's debates on either side. I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to have that kind of responsibility, that kind of stress to have to maintain my funds. I want my bank to do it, right? I can trust Wells Fargo. I can trust Bank of America. I can trust Fidelity. And that's really what it's going to be. That's why you see all these banks buying up crypto, OTC, and then opening up a fund. It's because now you're going to have that brand associated with crypto. But the bank's been doing the same shady thing, using invested funds, user funds, to do back alley trades. And sometimes those trades don't pan out, right? We've seen that with the 2008 housing crisis. So you know, what we need repercussions, right? We need to make an example out of people. If you're gonna you know, build a business that's gonna have billions of users and moving billions of dollars around, and you're using those funds illegally, or even like they said in the meeting, printing FTT after you already filed Chapter 11, you're trying to make money out of thin air to help get, I guess, repay users back or whatever. And maybe there was some good intentions behind it, but it's still, that's illegal as fuck, guys. Like, why? But of course, the dad of SBF is a tax haven specialist, or I forgot what they said, tax something. So the rich keep on getting away with it and they don't get held accountable. But you best believe if I did something like that, I would be jailed and beaten to death. Oh, okay. Village BC talking about the teachers fund, saying no to getting their money back, but it doesn't think it hurts them much. You know, in the interest of security, I would like to see more content on breaking up the home network using VLANs, and also how to use bare metal service to store your wallets on different VMs, virtual machines. That's a good point. A lot of people do that. You know who would be really good for that? Yeti. I need to talk to my boy Yeti. That's the way. My setup is a little bit different. I do got multiple VLANs. But my wallets, like the wallet.dat file, which I'm going to talk about in a video. I don't know if it's tomorrow or I got to edit it. It's going to be next week, where you back that up along with any seed phrase that the wallet gives you. But yeah, that's a good point. Let me write that down. I do my best to make videos for you guys that you're interested in, but the problem is the videos that may be interesting aren't the videos I do. The videos I do might help a single individual, period. It might help them one time. They never come back. They don't subscribe. They don't hit like. And I'm okay with that, because as long as I'm helping them, right? And I help them solve a problem. That's all I really care about. So premise of this damn channel. At least Ken Lay of Enron was going to court before dying of a heart attack and moving to Argentina. We'll see how this pans out, guys. We'll see how this shit pans out. I think it's a marvelous shit show. Not marvelous because so many people got hurt. I did lose about $1,000 in Celsius, and that's another thing too. Why are people keeping their funds like on BlockFi, Celsius, stuff like that? Because they're earning interest, right? They say, oh, look, I can earn 4% interest, 2% interest. Back in the day, you know, that one Terra Luna was offering 20%. That attracts people, right? If I'm going to hold my funds, rather than hold it in a cold storage wallet or a wallet that I own control of, I'll just keep it on there and earn 15, 20% down to 2%. No banks do that, right? I only get, at the max, I might get 5% cash back on my every purchase I spend, or at the bank, unless I use a CD, I'm going to get like, less than 1% or whatever. That attracts people, but that attraction can be fatal, because then we have things like Celsius, right? Three Arrows Capital, FTX happen, they go down. All that crypto that you did accumulate through that APY or interest earning platform, you can't get anyways. So it's a catch-22. But there is a counter to that. It's some wallets allow you to have full control, but still earn interest on your crypto. But people don't pay attention to those facts. Have a hardware wallet. On that hardware wallet, some of the cryptocurrencies do earn interest. So I am earning more crypto over time just by holding my funds on that wallet, and it's secure by me. It's under my control with my keys and everything. And if I lose the device, a hardware wallet, I could always restore, buy a new one, restore it with the seed phrase, and I'm back up and running. So there's counters to everything. We can argue about it all day. Many of you watching right now, I know, are educated and aware. Don't keep your funds on exchange, not your keys, not your coins. Know of some of the options available to you, the end user, to store your crypto safely rather than trusting an exchange. But moral of the story is trust no one, right? You see a guy on YouTube like myself you can hear, you can listen, you can maybe take it under advisement, but ultimately it's going to be up to you to finalize that decision. Double check my work. And I love that when you guys double check some of the data I put out and you're like, hey, that doesn't seem right. Try this. Maybe your clock was too high. Bring your clock back and try overclocking the memory a little bit more. And we go back and forth, and then that helps out the community because they see that back and forth and like, okay, Vega wasn't right, but we got some more data here, and now we can see what the actual information is. So that back and forth, just being respectable, providing constructive criticism, I appreciate it. You may not see it every single time. I can't talk to everybody one-on-one, but I appreciate you guys and the support you do. So you guys have yourself a wonderful Thanksgiving. I should see you this Saturday for Caffeine and Crypto before Thanksgiving. And then I will be in Miami next week. So from the 28th on, I'm hoping, if possible, to be catching up with some colleagues down there in Miami on the 27th. I got to reach out to them. But we'll see. And then I will be at Decentral the 28th, 29th, coming back on the 30th, and then back to work. I'm actually on call December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And I got to get my mom to the hospital on the 5th. So I got my priorities that I got to worry about. I just hope that you guys are focusing on what you need to do, taking care of yourself, your family, your needs, and definitely securing your funds. Sorry for my boy Automatic Beats and anybody else who got their funds stuck on BlockFi and whatnot, but hang in there. All will be well. Take care of yourselves. But yeah, do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Make sure to get subscribed. Check out links in the description. Sorry I look like shit today, but I appreciate your support nonetheless. When you see those videos about basics, again, I know you know it, please feel free to tweet it out. Follow me on Twitter. Link is on the main page in the banner, also in the description. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up. Feel free to retweet an article and send it to me if you see something that should be of interest, stuff like that. I can't cover every news subject or every new piece of kit or news that people might want me to because of my schedule, my full-time life. But I do my best to, try to keep up on things. So anyways, I'm out of here. You guys take care. I'll catch you next one. Oh, don't forget, there's a giveaway going on. You could win an A2000 from me, signed, if you want me to sign it, and an EVGA XR1 capture card. I'll put the link in the description right now while this is playing for you. But there is a Gleam.io giveaway, and if you buy some shirts, you get some additional entries into it. I know money's tight right now. Maybe buying shirts is not as fruitful, but it does give you additional entries. So I'll leave that decision up to you. Either way, I'll put the link in the description. Look for the Gleam.io giveaway and the information on where you can buy shirts and get additional entries into the giveaway.
Octominer and 9 other YouTubers are going to be giving away 10 prizes to 10 lucky winners. Each YouTuber has their own custom design that has been created and will be available for sale starting on November 1st. There will only be 50 shirts of each design available to buy. Each t-shirt purchase will be worth 50 entries without any limit on the number of shirts you can buy. You don't want to purchase a shirt? No problem. We got you covered. There are free ways to enter just by clicking the Gleam URL link down below in the description. We will also be giving away a portion of the proceeds to the Water Project Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization unlocking human potential by providing reliable water projects to communities in sub-Saharan Africa who suffer needlessly from a lack of access to clean water and proper sanitation. The Community Crypto Tuber 500 giveaway will run from November 1st to November 29th. Those will be the available dates to enter. We will be having a live stream on YouTube to select the winners randomly using Gleam on Wednesday, November 30th.